The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
Donna Sue turning quickly to embrace Harvey for one last time, but that hottie, Sheriff Terry, was there to stop her.
Louis Rivera, his children have no father. Catherine Magbanawa and Sigfredo Garcia, their children have no parents. Charlie Adelson, his son, has no father. Rob Adelson and his wife and their 2 children have lost their uncle and grandparents.
The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
Can you imagine a mother involving a son to complete a murder? Donna's eldest son, Rob, an honest and decent man, is estranged from the family.
One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
The verdict is in, and all the usual players in our community are lining up in the courtroom to see if Donna Sue Adelson is going to be convicted. Let's watch. Take a look at this chooch. You're not allowed to bring in any type of food or beverages in the courtroom. Obviously, this guy has no idea what the rules are in the court. If anybody knows who this person is, let's report him. Thanks to our beat reporter, Patty, she caught old Harvey chowing down on some pizza. But guess what? He didn't even buy it, nor did anyone invite him to actually eat it. If you look up to the right there, you'll see the mental lawyer. He's the one who paid for it, and obviously he's giving him the old death stare because old Harvey's chowing down on his food. And there's Harvey entering the court. Not only will Donna Sue's fate be decided, but his will as well. He will walk out of here either a single free man, or he'll have to remain married to old Donna Sue. Let's watch. And look who's strutting in for the big decision. Judy, the Asian YouTube lawyer's favorite FBI agent. She calls him Sexy Sanford, and he's right there. Very classy move by the attorney, shaking hands before the verdict is read.
Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict?
We have.
If you please can hand the verdict form to the bailiff.
Ooh, you can feel the tension.
Having reviewed the verdict form, it is in its proper order. At this time, I will publish the verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
Wow, and there you have it. After just 3 hours, the jury convicts the boss, Donna Sue Adelson, of the first count.
Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the indictment. Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3 of the indictment. Solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
Not a wet eye in the house.
The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and dated by the foreperson. One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
Old Judge Everett ain't having it.
I'm free.
Mrs. Adelson, while this was not the outcome I'm sure that you desired, there will not be any further outbursts in front of the jury. If you cannot control yourself, I am going to have to determine if you will be removed from the remainder of this process. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
Do you need a moment to collect yourself? Before the jurors are brought back in, we will take a brief 2-minute break. Please give her tissues if she needs them.
Tissues for what?
Jurors are brought back into the room. Does the defense wish to have the jurors polled before they are discharged?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well.
Well, at least Harvey's taking it well.
Please bring back in the jurors so we can conclude with their portion of the trial. As to the jury's verdict, is the defense asking for a pre-sentence report on counts 2 and 3.
Pre-sentence reports will have the defendant's conduct and previous history analyzed by the court. It will enable the defense to potentially get a reduction in the sentence, although the first count, the murder charge, carries a mandatory life sentence, so it really doesn't matter.
As to count 1, the penalty is statutory. There is no modification for it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Pre-sentence investigation and report is ordered by the court as to counts 2 and 3.
Donna Sue turning and looking to her trusted supply Harvey, who can't save her now.
My name is Ruth Markell. I am the mother of the late Dan Markell.
Victims of a crime are generally allowed to give an impact statement if a person is convicted. And here we have Dan Markell's mother and dad going to do just that.
This was a particularly senseless crime, and the murder was particularly insensible. It was not revenge. That is why I wrote the book, The Unveiling, a mother's reflection on murder, grief, and trial life.
Smart move by Mrs. Markell, slipping in a plug for a book while the whole world is watching. Nice job.
All the community of journalists, TV programs, podcasters, and the allies who have put their hearts in keeping Danny's story alive, we are full of thanks.
What I love about the Markells is they embrace podcasters. They embrace the YouTube community because we kept this case moving.
If Tallahassee is known for football, Tallahassee should be known for the prosecution and for law enforcement.
She's 100% right. In that uppity educational state of Massachusetts, they stumbled and bumbled over the investigation of John O'Keefe, which was very simple. But down in old Florida, where they claim it's a bunch of hillbillies and rednecks, they took 11 years to finally get every single person involved in this case, and perhaps there's a few more coming.
They have done an outstanding job. Danny's murder was orchestrated by his former mother-in-law, Donna Adelson, and other co-conspirators, and is a crime of cruelty. It is a murder of grief, a murder of selfishly prioritizing one's own desires over what is just or right. And at its core, this was a murder of convenience, so that one grandmother could live closer to her grandchildren. She killed their father and ripped the children from the other grandparents' lives.
In the mind of a narcissist, they never do anything wrong. They legitimately believe that any actions that were negative to them were not caused by them.
Donna Adelson's crimes against Dan began long before his murder. She belittled Dan in front of his children. She spread lies about it and contributed to a brutal separation between Dan and Wendy. She rented the house, and Dan came home and he found that Wendy and the boys were gone with most of their belongings.
Great point by Miss Markell. In a marriage with children, when there's a dispute, it's imperative that the parents push their kid to work it out, not do the exact opposite. But always remember that we have a narcissistic mother, and she didn't care about the actual family. She only cared about seeking control.
He called this devastation Pearl Harbor.
Those sound effects were put in there by my rascal of a producer, and I'll have a word with him because it's not funny to simply play an Asian song every time they mention anything to do with an Asian country.
Donna's eagerness for Wendy to divorce Dan and to relocate to South Florida led her to increasingly devise desperate schemes. Despite these efforts, the court ruled that Wendy could not move the boys away from their loving father. Failing to achieve her goal through legal means, Donna finally resorted to orchestrating Dan's murder. She plotted, planned, and paid for his murder. Donna's crimes led to further devastation. Her middle son, Charlie, was convicted and sentenced to a life in prison.
You are sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of release or parole.
Oh.
As to count 2, you are going to be sentenced consecutively to 30 years in the Department of Corrections for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. As to count 3, you are going to be sentenced to 30 years in the Department of Corrections consecutively for solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
Expect Donna Sue to receive a very similar sentence.
For his role in facilitating Danny's murder for hire. Can you imagine a mother involving a son to complete a murder? Donna's eldest son, Rob, an honest and decent man, is estranged from the family, and her younger child, Wendy, has decided once again to relocate to another state. She blames external forces for her family's curse. They're outside of her, but she is the curse. Yet Dan's murder was not enough for Donna. His death was not enough. Danny had to be fully erased from his beloved sons. The boy's last name was ever changed, an extraordinary decision to excise the Markell name from Phil's only grandsons who shared his last name. And after the first arrests were made, Donna didn't allow the Markell family to have access for over 6 years. We only wait for the day that Benjamin and Lincoln will visit their father and his grave in Toronto.
Phil Markell, I'm Danny's father. Judge Everett, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the impact of Donna Adelson's actions on my families and the families of so many others. While this victim impact statement is addressed to you, Your Honor, it is also intended for the Adelson family. Donna's selfishness, cruelty, and complete disrespect for human life, along with that of her co-conspirators, have left families forever broken. Louis Rivera, his children have no father. Catherine Magbanawa and Sigfredo Garcia, their children have no parents. Charlie Adelson, his son, Roman, has no father. Rob Adelson and his wife and their 2 children have lost their uncle and grandparents. For Donna, someone who claims to care so much about Ben and Lincoln, her sun shines. Her actions are beyond comprehension. She has harmed forever the people she claims to have loved. In the Jewish custom, we have an expression to always wish others to live to 120 years of age.
That is true. Those of you that have never met a Jew before may not know that they wish each other to live 120 years, and that's based upon the belief that Moses lived 120 years.
For Donna, I wish her to live to 120, alone in her jail cell. I wish that every day of her remaining days she thinks about the harm she has caused to so many, especially those 2 boys she claims to have loved so much.
Beautiful use of passive-aggressive behavior by Miss Markell. Love it.
I ask the court sentence Donna Adelson to the maximum possible sentence.
I respectfully ask the court to impose the maximum sentence on Donna Adelson. Her lack of cooperation and remorse throughout the case demands justice, the justice that Dan's life and memory fully deserve.
We are in recess at this time. We will reconvene on October 14th. Have a good evening, everyone.
Donna Sue turning quickly to embrace Harvey for one last time, but that hottie, Sheriff Terry, was there to stop her. Well, if you have to be escorted out of court to serve a life sentence, it might as well be with that hottie, Sheriff Terry. Straight out the door and she gone. The Markells beautifully laid out to the court how much destruction Donna Sue caused to all those various people and their children simply because they did not follow that one rule that I tell you about every single time we meet. You don't fuck with Donna Sue Adelson.
Oh my God, this is amazing! Woo! So fast!
I'm free.